So you're at the track, or you're going to be at the track, and you're all alone. You have no means of taking accurate measurements for your suspension, and you just kind of want to ballpark it, okay? The purpose of this video is I'm just going to show you visually what you should aim for and what's bad. Now behind me is my XSR900. I have taken it to the track about 4 times or so. I always dial in my suspension, and so far it's been pretty decent. Now before we get started, you are going to need these tools to set anything. A long flathead screwdriver. You'll need the factory spanner wrench for adjusting the shock preload, and a 14mm wrench or socket. Before you start messing around with anything, make sure you record your existing settings, because if you start adjusting things and you go out on the track and you find that it's totally screwed up and you can't ride it, you can always fall back to your old settings. After this video, I hope you have a better understanding of what you want to aim for so that it doesn't cause you discomfort on the track. So for this video, I purposely whacked out my suspension so it's nowhere near where it should be. First things first, again, we need to take our existing settings and write them down. To get your existing rebound, you're going to need that flathead screwdriver. Your rebound adjuster is going to be on the right cartridge. And so we simply, you can either turn in or you can turn out, but what you're measuring is the amount of clicks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 from fully in. Now to adjust the rebound on the shock, we're going to look at the left side of the bike, and in this hole in the frame here, you're going to see the same adjuster that we saw on the fork. There it is right there. And you follow the same procedure I just showed you. Now for the fork preload adjustment, you are going to see these lines. That's what you're going to use to measure how much preload you have, or you can use a ruler, but in my case I have this clip-on adapter, which makes that a pain in the ass. So measure the amount of lines that you have and go from there. Also, you have one of these per fork cartridge. Now to adjust the rear shock preload, we're going to look at this little plate right here and this collar, and we're going to rotate this collar clockwise or counterclockwise to increase or decrease preload. Now right now I have mine on maximum preload, meaning it's going to be stiff as a rock, and so I'm going to rotate this collar counterclockwise, and as I do that it will decrease the preload. This is where you're going to need your spanner wrench. Now onto the good stuff. I'm going to show you with my bike that has totally whacked out settings, what's right, what's wrong, and how we're going to set it. So what I do is, you want the bike upright, okay? Now this is kind of a skill you just gotta learn, but I will just keep it upright, and we're gonna we're gonna look at our front end and see what it's doing. So with the brake, I'll hold the brake, push down, and you can see, hopefully you can see, how bouncy it is. Our preload is way off, and so is our rebound. Let's look at the back. So again, with the bike upright, try not to drop it. I usually put my left foot under the tire and I'll push down, okay, on the rear seat. It's very stiff. Very stiff. I'm putting a lot of force down. You don't want the bike this stiff. Now, I'm not putting any weight on the bike. I'm about to sit. Take a look at my rear tire, or my rear seat. Okay, I'm going to sit down. Okay, I pretty much have my full weight on. It's not budging at all. It's too stiff. Also, if you want to take a look at your static sag, this is how you do it. You pretty much have to grab your fork, okay, and lift up. Okay, you want to see this line right here. Okay, mine, it's about 20 millimeters or so from what I can tell. And in the back, I already know, but there's basically, there's nothing. There's no static sag whatsoever. And first thing, I'm gonna start with preload. So preload, I mean, compared to the back, this preload is pretty mushy. It's too soft. There's not enough tension on the spring. So you're gonna take your 14 millimeter. Now for me, I have the Woodcraft clip-on adapter plate, so I can't use a socket. You can use a wrench, or you can do what I did and get a gear wrench. Right now mine is fully out, meaning it's got no preload. So we're gonna just adjust that, put it under here. Make sure you put it on the right size. And we're just going to rotate clockwise. Now I purposely went full out on preload. I would never run my bike this way. And I also know that this bike has got a pretty soft front end. So I'm going to look at my lines. I got about 3 lines from the very bottom. I'm going to start with that. Also remember to do both sides. Alright, so I got 4 lines on both sides. Let's take a look and see. Definitely feels a little like it has a little bit more tension on the springs. That's good. So let's start with the back preload now. Now a word about preload. If you are a heavier person, you're going to need more preload. But for me, again, I'm 160 pounds with riding gear on. I'm not going to need very much preload. Now I'm going to take my spanner wrench and I'm going to rotate the collar of that spring counterclockwise. There's no real easy way of doing this. You're going to have to ping pong from side to side to rotate this. This is why having an external preload adjuster is the way. All right, so I'm about three or four grooves out from full soft. Let's take a look at the bike now. Definitely more softer. Still, it's a little stiff for me. I'm not putting any weight. I'm going to put some weight now. Goes down about 5 millimeters. Barely anything. It's still too stiff for me. All right, now I am at full soft in the back. So let's see how it is now. Definitely more soft. Goes down about 10 millimeters using my butt sense. I'm going to check for some static sag now. I have a little bit, but barely. I mean, a couple millimeters. At the track, I might increase preload by 1 or 2 notches. I've been running full soft for me, and it's been working out great. So if you're about 150, 160 pounds like me, you're probably going to be good at full soft. So you've messed with the back and the front preload. It's a good time now to just check the bike overall. What you're going to do is just get your hand on the fork and on the rear seat, and just push down and see if it is somewhat even. It's not bad. I think the front could actually use a little bit more preload, but it's not too bad. So now we're going to mess with our rebound. I'm going to show you what wrong rebound looks like. Okay, you see how the bike, how it's bouncing back up? It goes past its rest point and then kind of bounces. The rebound is too fast. Okay, if you think about it like a hose bib, okay, you open the hose bib and more water flow happens, okay? It's the same thing with rebound and compression. So the more you open it up, the more fluid can pass through, and that means it's rebounding too fast. Now I'm going to show you what rebounding too slow looks like. So I just set my rebound to fully in or full slow. You see how slow it comes up? Okay, you don't want that either. So I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to adjust the rebound clicker up here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try 4. It's not bad. I'm actually going to go one more down to 3. Let's try 3. Three is the money ticket. So I set my front rebound to 3 clicks from fully in. And just to give you a kind of a visual idea of what that looks like, just right. So now we're going to set our back. So right now in FYI, I have the rebound set fully out, meaning it's going to rebound fast. It's kind of bouncy. Yeah, on the track this would be, on the track this would feel kind of weird. It's like there's no dampening going on. I'm actually going to show you what full rebound in looks like. Alright, so I just set that to full in on the rebound, and this is what it looks like. See how slow that comes out? Look at the swinger. Okay, that's way too slow. You don't want that. So let's try 2 clicks out. FYI, there are no clicks on the back rebound adjuster. You have to go by rotations. So I rotated my adjuster 2 full turns from fully in. See what that looks like. It's better. Actually, I think it's just about right. So using my butt indicator, it's actually not too bad. At this point, I would go ahead and test it. Go around your neighborhood or whatever if you're at the track. do a couple of laps and see how it feels. Obviously, if something feels wrong, you can go back to your old settings or just keep tuning as you go. Also, one thing to keep in mind, if you are in a hot environment or you're really pushing your suspension, your fluid will get hotter, which will make it feel different. Don't think about that too much. Again, the purpose of this video is really just to get you in the ballpark so you're not worrying about your suspension too much. If you really want to fine tune your settings, head over to Dave Moss's channel and be amazed. Okay, Dave Moss pretty much knows everything there is to know about suspension. Go to his channel and be prepared to sink in the rest of your day. Now, to wrap up this video, this is pertaining to the XSR900 and the MT-09, same generation I'm referring to, but these bikes are pretty soft in the front and very stiff in the back. They probably design it that way so you can ride two up or have a bunch of luggage in the back. But if you're like me, one of the rare people to track their XSR900, you're going to want more preload in the front and definitely a lot less preload in the back, especially if you're a lightweight rider like me. Sub 160, you're probably going to run full soft on the back and probably between 2 to 5 lines showing on the front. And then of course adjust your rebound as needed. You don't want the rebound you don't want the bike to bounce up and down. You want it to rebound nice and smooth. And you don't want it to rebound too slow. Okay, you don't want it to do this. Okay, nobody has time for that. Now, plans for my bike, I am again at track weekend number 4, going on 5. I am getting better and better. I'm getting faster. I'm coming close to bottoming out the front suspension. There's not a whole lot I can do besides respring it and just get better suspension in general. Hopefully this helped you. Again, go to Dave Moss's channel if you want to really fine tune your suspension. So if you're someone that tracks their XSR900 or MT-09, subscribe to my channel. I am going to be tracking my bike for the foreseeable future. I pretty much ride this bike mostly on the track, probably 80% of the time on the track. Ever since I started track day riding, street riding has kind of been ruined for me. So this bike is going to be mainly used for the track. I will be working on braking stuff, on probably putting some rear sets on it, and just making it as good as it can be for the track, but not going too overboard. Anyway, thanks again for watching.